back to my channel and welcome to Quilts for Miles. And in this video I thought I would let you see how I sew one of my Hugs and Kisses quilts all the way through. So I've made all the blocks, I've made the 4 kisses and I've made the 4 hugs and I've made the 1 double heart. And now it's time to sew all of these blocks and make them into a quilt top and get it ready for quilting. So as you might be able to see under my machine here, I have got a leader because I am starting a new project because yesterday I finished off with some binding. So I had a completely different foot on and completely different settings and everything on the machine. So I have got a leader and this will stop any of my fabric from getting caught down into my feed dogs and causing a great big mess. So this will just help everything feed straight through. And just very similar to my previous video with the double hearts, I am going to chain piece as much as I can and break threads when I really have to. So sometimes, because some of these blocks have been starched and some haven't, they don't always line up exactly right, so I might have to start at one end and then I'll sometimes break thread and come and start at the next end to try and get it all to match. When I have to do that, I put the bulkier bit of fabric on the bottom because the feed dogs do take in more fabric than the top. And you can always ease a little bit of fabric in by putting the biggest one on the bottom and let the feed dogs ease it in a little bit more. So we're going to get started. So because I start with, in this quilt there's 4 kisses on the corners. So I'm going to start with row 1, which is going to have a kiss, a hug and then another kiss. Row 2 will start with a hug, the double heart will be in the middle and then it will go with another hug, and then the final row will be a kiss, a hug and a kiss. So I hope you enjoy just watching how I sew and how I go about putting a quilt top together. It's a fairly decent size quilt top. It's around 75 inches, something like that, square when it's all complete. So it is a decent size quilt top. So enjoy just seeing how I go around putting this together, and I'll show you at the end of it what it looks like when it's all together. So now the chain piece, I leave this one under the machine and I now start to get row 2 organised. So row 2 starts with a hug and it's my double heart right in the centre. Okay, so now I'm on to row 3, and just like that I've got the first 2 rows started. So now we're going on to row 3 and that starts with another hug. So it's just picking another hug and in the middle will be a kiss. I just sew the long seam like the previous 2 rows. So now I've got the first 2 blocks of the 3 rows done. So now I leave the 3rd row still underneath my machine, and I iron this big seam of the first 2 rows and get them ready to go back under. So this doesn't come off from the machine until I'm starting onto row 1 again, and I'm sewing that long seam on row 1 again. Okay, so as you can see, I've still got row 3 attached to my machine, but I have ironed just there. I've ironed the seam open on row 1, and now I'm ready to attach the final block to row 1, which is another kiss. So as you can see, I have actually got my starter back on the machine because I did break thread because I just needed to fix up a seam. So I had to do that before I could go any further with this. So now I will start with my starter again. So now what I'm doing is sewing rows 1 and 2 together to start joining all the rows to form the quilt top. So to match this seam, all I have done is just peeled the fabric back about 1/4 of an inch, just like that, had a sneak peek, and then I just press my finger firmly on the seam to try and prevent it from moving until I get to that seam, and then I move the finger just a tad. It works 99.9% of the time. There are some times where the seams are off just a fraction, but that doesn't worry me, and I don't like the pin. As you can see, I'm sewing my third and final row onto this quilt, and it's going to be a quilt top very soon. That's how quick this quilt does come together, because the blocks are so big, and it doesn't take much to get a nice decent sized quilt top when your blocks are big like these ones are. we have a quilt top. Now all I have to do is iron those 2 seams I just sewed, and then the quilt top is ready and it's ready for quilting. So final step for this is now to iron these seams open, and basically I just started off with my fingers and then just go in with my iron. Just run my finger to get the seam open a bit, and then I just use my iron to flatten it as best as I can. And then because my ironing board is smaller than the quilt top, I just slide it on through. And keep that process going. Okay, and just like that, I have a quilt top. So here is the finished product and what it looks like. I'll give you a bit of a closer look at it, so you can see. That is how quick and easy this quilt top does come together, because these blocks are so big that I think they're about, I don't know, 15 inches or something. So now I've got this quilt top. This is now ready to be basted and quilted, and the binding, and I'll bring you along for that process of how I do that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider giving it a subscribe and a like, and until my next video, God bless.